Ignore the sound of the highway and listen to the wind. I just listened to the audio and it's really hard to do it. Check out these ducks though. What's up? Question of the day. Is there a contradiction between science and art? Does scientific understanding fundamentally contradict artistic understanding? I've been thinking of this as I've been watching the wind move these leaves around. I can perceive wind in a lot of different ways. I used to teach middle school science, so I see it instantly as a convection current. It's the solar radiation affecting the density of the air, leading to a circular cycle. But rather than see it as solar radiation that was, energy stuck in the sun from fusion that got stuck in the plasma and eventually took 8 minutes to get here and then heated up some stuff, I can also just sense it. I can just feel it on my skin. I can hear it at the highway, but the sound, and I can experience that as an aesthetic and not perceive it as an intellectual object. Are these things in contradiction? Are they fighting each other? I don't have all the answers to this question, but I do have one that comes from the Nobel Prize winning physicist Richard Feynman. I can't give you the exact quote. I'm away from my bookshelf, but as a trade-off, check out these flowers. Here's the quote. Richard Feynman is talking to an artist, and the artist says, "I see the beauty of the flower, and I paint it. And you just see physics forces. You just see electrons and charge and all these things connected together. You don't really see the flower." And Feynman is and I'm clearly paraphrasing the quote, but at this point, Feynman says to the artist, "No, I do see the flower. And I don't just see the flower. I see the level of beauty that you see, and I get to see an additional level of beauty underneath. Because these subatomic forces and these charges and these electrons and these atoms, they have a beauty too." There is no contradiction, according to Feynman, between artistic, aesthetic beauty and scientific perception of the world. Also, I just realized those are geese and not ducks. It's too late to refilm it. I'm going to leave it in. Somebody's going to explain it to me in the comments, and it's going to help the engagement on the video. Anyway, just as there is no contradiction between an aesthetic and an intellectual understanding of the world, there is also no inherent destruction in the appropriation of a new worldview into your consciousness. Let me explain that. On a national scale, many of us are afraid to learn new things because we think that in understanding someone else's perception, our perception will be threatened. Admittedly, sometimes this is true, but sometimes it's a lot more like the flower. A lot of cis men, for instance, feel threatened by the existence of trans people because they fear on some level that by admitting the existence of another, it diminishes their own existence. Spoiler alert, it does not. The laws of physics don't threaten a flower, and if your identity is threatened by a marginal class, it's an identity based on oppression.